Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to the show, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky in the Waterstone studio. I have my sports panel back with me today for a very special edition episode of Off the Cuff where we're going to talk about UK football. This is the first official football podcast of the season. I've got Jordan Conaster, Zack Hahn, and Chad Rainwater. And Chad, thanks for finding the edited version of that song to come into. I didn't realize it till right at the beginning, so I really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. Thanks to Spotify.
Yeah, thanks to Spotify. So how's everybody doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Zach, how about you?
Oh, glad to be back and in the fall for once, so the spring.
Yeah, I know. This is typically we're all together during March, April. Now we're here and
I think this might make for everybody's first podcast in the new studio, too, other than you, isn't it?
It is.
I believe so, yeah.
It is. Well, I did have a guest, Andrew Brockman, in here.
No, all of us. Yeah, all of us. The sports panel, man.
Yeah, this is the first time we've all been in here. We need to get a picture.
Hey, it's glad to be back on the show, by the way.
Who is?
Me.
Oh,
glad to be back on the show. But you said that this is our first football podcast of the season. I believe this is our first football podcast ever, all of us at least. Have you ever done one?
I don't think so. We've talked about my frustrations with Mark Stoops, and we've talked about...
Those are well documented.
They are. If you want to ever find out how I feel about Stoops, just go through the archives.
But this is our first football podcast.
It is.
It's usually, March Madness, and then, Josh is the NBA guest, but...
the NBA series got canceled. My producer called me the other day and said that we're not going to be able to do any more shows. So the NBA series was just canceled. So it's only going to be college basketball, and I guess they replaced it with this college football series. I don't know what's going on.
Have you broke the news to Josh yet?
I've not had that. He's getting a certified letter. I've not had the heart to tell him yet. Our producer's been in a bad mood here lately. But anyway... Yeah, it's good to have everybody back. I'm glad everybody is here. What do you think of the new studio? Of course, it's moving up in class, episode by episode.
It's brand new.
It is.
It's brand new. It's like it was built a couple weeks ago.
I like it, but I don't have a seat to sit in, so I'm just standing up here.
Yeah, no, we are standing. You actually do have a seat. I saved that seat for you, so I was going to be the one standing.
I might take it here in a minute.
Yeah, you can take me up on that offer. But, all right, so let's jump right into our first football podcast, official football podcast. Mark Stoops is doing a great job. He's got the team 5-0, guys.
Can you say that again?
Mark Stoops is doing a great job. He's got the team 5-0.
We need to document this.
It's documented. I know that I've hated on Stoops for a long time. So let me just say this right off the bat about Stoops. I want to congratulate him. I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. He has put momentum back into the program. He has got fans excited again to watch every single game because we go into every single game thinking we could win. Before, we would go into a game thinking, oh, here's another loss. But actually, legitimately, we can sit down and watch a Texas A&M game and be like, you know what? We actually have a fighting chance. So that puts excitement back into the program. But I do want to say this. It's about time. 6 years. 6 years Mark Stoops has been here. He still has not won a bowl. I'd like to see a bowl win. And I'd also like to see 8 wins. Now, he's on his way to get it, but he's slowly earning my respect.
I think it took a while, but he finally got his team together. And Mark Stoops' defense this year at Kentucky is starting to actually look a little bit more like the defense that he was putting together when he was the DC at Florida State. So I like that. I think our offense still needs some work. I mean, you have Benny Snell, so it's kind of hard to say that you need work when you have Benny, but... We need some more quarterback play. We have some good talented wide receivers, and I think a quarterback that has potential to have really solid throwing talent. And also he has legs, so you have the dual threat, and we can really mess some people up. I would like to see a lot more of Terry Wilson tonight, throwing the ball, moving the ball, and not as much of Benny Snell, but a lot of Benny Snell as well. I think that could change the dynamic and make ESPN and all the major networks really look at Kentucky and be like, this is a playoff contender.
I agree with you to some extent, but we have one of the best running backs in the nation, though. No one's been able to stop Benny Snell, Jr.
Oh, I've never heard of
Well, South Carolina did stop him a little bit in the second.
Well, we were being a little conservative as well. I mean, we knew that we had like a 2 or 3 touchdown lead, and I believe that Stoops knew that our defense could stop them, and they had the whole game. That second half did worry me a little bit, but I think that they were. I don't know, but if we have Snell, there's nobody that has been able to stop him yet.
I don't want to argue with you on the Snell thing because there is definitely games where Snell needs to get 30, 35 carries and A.J. Rose needs to get 10 or 12, and then they just need to run the ball. And they can run all over people, but you got to change your schemes every now and then. You can't just run all the time against Georgia and Alabama and teams like Texas A&M. You have to have a little bit more things you can do on offense, like pass the ball or have Terry Wilson take off on some draws and stuff like that. But I think our receivers have to show a little bit more. I mean, you have Lynn Bowden. That is one of the most talented, fastest players I've ever seen in college sports.
I do think that tonight will be a huge test to what you're saying.
I should mention that. Go ahead.
Oh, because I think Texas A&M is the number 2 or 3 rush defense in the nation. So we'll definitely have a huge test tonight.
Yeah, I should mention to the podcast listeners that we do play Texas A&M here in a couple of hours as we're recording this. We do play Texas A&M. Kentucky going in 5-0. And, yes, I agree with you. Kentucky has a strong defense. Our offense is strong on parts. We're good at running the ball because we do have a great running back. But I do want to see some diversity because eventually they're going to find Benny Snell out. They're going to recognize that they're going to give the ball to Benny every time. They're going to get him killed if they don't learn how to adjust. They're going to have to learn how to use Terry with more throws. So I do agree with you.
And I think tonight also we have to start a true freshman at left tackle.
Right, and that's what I was going to bring up. The offensive line is obviously we came into the season with Landon Young out for the year, and then his backup, I believe it's Nasir Watkins, went down last week. So it's getting a little thin at the offensive line, and that's going to make it difficult to just pound the ball. I don't know if we'll be able to win kind of the battle of the trenches against Texas A&M. So I agree with Jordan. I would like to see Terry Wilson kind of step up. We got a lot of weapons at receiver, at tight end. I've been hoping that C.J. Conrad would get have a 5 to 10 reception game for a long time. I think he's got pro talent. It'd be great to see it on display tonight.
See, a lot of people are saying that C.J. Conrad is going to be the number 1 tight end prospect going into this year's NFL draft.
Exactly, and we should use that more and get more production out of him while he's here. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's a great piece to move around on the field, but as far as receptions and touchdowns, we haven't necessarily seen that game in and game out.
He's a solid blocker too, but another one, Dorian Baker. He's had a lot of sketch kind of games, and he's made he's been injured for most of his 18-year career at Kentucky. So
Dorian Baker, the touchdown maker.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, listen, man, he's what is it? He's like 6'5". He's just a solid frame, and he can go up and he can get the
right. He's got big catch ability.
He looks like a pro athlete, but God, he cannot catch the ball. Sometimes he's not. I don't think he's pro material. I don't think he's got a snowball chance in hell going pro.
Oh no, and I agree with you. I don't think Dorian Baker will ever see a snap in the NFL.
No,
I'd like to see Bouvier get a little bit more involved too in the slot.
And then, we had a lot of receivers last year that, they had solid years last year with Steven Johnson, but this year they just can't make it happen with Terry Wilson because I feel like, and our offense, we're 5-0. Obviously, we've been doing something right. So I'm not gonna knock on Stoops and Eddie Grant and stuff and say, the defense or the offense needs such a big change.
Right. They've been doing what they had to do to win, but the formula might be a little bit different tonight if Texas A&M jumps out to a lead.
Mm-hmm.
Does Stoops have it right? Next year is Kentucky when they lose these players, when they lose Snell, when they lose Josh Allen, when they lose Mike Edwards, when they lose these guys, is Kentucky going to go right back down to where they were? Or
no, I think we're going to continue right where we're at. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think we're going to come in the next year and start 5-0 by any means. Yeah. But the good thing that this year is doing for you, it's bringing in the recruits. We're pulling all the in-state recruits over Louisville right now.
Yeah,
Louisville,
absolutely.
we're winning the recruiting.
They got trash yesterday.
We're winning the in-state recruiting battle.
Yeah, they're so bad.
Absolutely. And what I was going to talk about earlier when you talked about where the program's at, and you talked about bowl losses.
Yeah.
I mean, that sucks. Yeah, I would have loved to beat Georgia Tech. Would have loved to have seen us beat Northwestern last year. But that's just – those games don't matter that much. When you look –
It does to Kentucky.
When I look at college football, I look at it – you almost got to look at it like boxing or UFC as far as judging where you're at. It's like a ladder. You want your team to be higher in those rankings. And they go – even though they only show you the top 25 in the paper – it goes all the way down, and where Kentucky's at has consistently moved up, and where the floor kind of is for us now, I think Stoops has brought that up a lot. So will we be 13th in the country at this time next year? Probably not, but we won't be in the 70s or the 80s kind of where we've been at low points in the past. You know, that low point now for us is right around the top 25, I think, and that's definitely an improvement for the state of the program long term.
If we win tonight against Texas A&M, is this, for the program, bigger? This win, is it bigger than the Florida win this year?
I think, honestly, I think this win, I mean, that Florida one's going to be hard to beat just because it was their rally for this football team. But if we beat Texas A&M tonight, I think that will probably be the biggest Kentucky football win of our lifetimes, just because I think it will push us into the top 10. We have a couple, I'm not going to say easy games because we have Missouri, and they've got one hell of a quarterback back there. But we have Missouri, we have Vanderbilt in front of Georgia, and a bye week.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're possibly looking at going at, 7-0 or 8-0 into that Georgia game. And they're going to still probably be number 2 team in the nation at home. It just sold out today. Imagine how wild Commonwealth Stadium or Kroger Field or whatever you want to call it will be for that Georgia game with an 8-0 Kentucky team.
Have you seen the ticket prices on those?
I bet they're wild.
Oh, I paid $83 a piece. Yeah.
Oh, you got tickets for the Georgia game?
For the cheapest
When did you get those?
Well, there's not a bad
Last
seat in
week.
the stadium. Really.
Last week.
That's a good thing about Kroger Field.
Is it what now?
So there's not really a bad seat in the stadium.
There's not a bad seat in the stadium. I mean, you still got to sit on bleachers. They could do a lot better. They could have back seats. But
If we lose tonight, do you think that hurts our season at all? Or is it still
As long as we don't get blown out, I don't think it's going to add. I mean, it'll make it hard to win the East, but I don't think it'll be like a catastrophic, like the wheels come off.
it won't, but it will slow down the momentum just a tad.
I think so too. I mean, we'll still be in the top 25, maybe hanging around 20, 22. But if we did lose, we still have a legitimate chance to, when we do play Georgia, I mean, we have to obviously beat them, but we still have a chance of winning the East.
Yeah.
That's true.
But, I mean, it's still, you still like to see them go 6-0. Because when's the last time that happened?
Yeah. See, and that
70s?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the first time we've been 3-0 in conference play since 77?
Yeah, and we were on probation that year.
So
Is this our first time playing Texas A&M?
Probably not ever, but I think
this is
since
third,
they've been in the
this is
SEC.
third game. This is our third game. I think they've won in Commonwealth, and then we've won down there.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd beat
It's
them
our
yet.
third game playing.
No, to Jordan's point earlier, I think it would be like if you take the streak out of it, getting the streak off, beating Florida this year was a big deal. But as far as like going and beating an SEC West team on the road, that is huge.
Well, I mean, about the Florida streak, and we're all kind of glancing back at the TV that Adam's got set up in the booth over here.
Yeah,
But
because we were all together.
We do have the SC. Was this on CBS?
Yes.
And it's the LSU, number 5 LSU at number 22 Florida, who Kentucky went down to the swamp and beat. And Florida's beating LSU right now, 14-13. So, and that's, the top 5 team in the nation, and Florida's looking pretty solid against them. So that makes me feel a little bit better about, what this team is actually about right now.
Right, I know. Oh, yeah, also...
It's at 50 right now.
Is it really? Oh, I should mention also to the listeners, on the podcast, I'm going to start a new segment ever so often where I'm going to be giving my expert picks on sports betting. I am like 8 for 10 right now with sports betting, which is a really, really good record. If you want,
You're practically a master.
Practically. So, for free, I'm going to give you my picks. So, all you got to do is listen off the cuff. On random days, I'll give you random picks to random games, and you can benefit from it.
Talk about random games. You got that right. Betting on UNLV and New Mexico State.
Well, my strategy is locks. So, I got UNLV and New Mexico, which is 63 under. 63 is a lot of points for anybody to try to get. I want you to put the points on the board. I'm always going to bet under on those big ones.
All right, so that's your angle. I was thinking you were an expert on desert football, but
My angle is pretty simple. Bet on big, luscious numbers or bet on big, luscious spreads.
Can we go talking? I don't want to change the subject. I'm feeling like Josh here, but going back to talking about Stoops, I believe during the Florida game I asked you what Stoops had to do for you to win him over, and I believe you said we had to beat Florida, and we had to win a bowl game.
Yes.
Let's say we go 11-1
Okay.
in the regular season and lose in a bowl game. What's your views on that?
I think that if we lose the bowl, then we just lose the bowl. I'll have to give them credit where credit is due. 11 games is pretty successful. I mean, we could still go to an amazing bowl and probably lose that because we are going to have some competitive matchups. But I'm telling you, this team, I could put them up against anybody. They've given me no reason not to put them up against
So have you
anybody.
officially jumped on the Stoops wagon? Or you
No,
still
I have
hanging
not.
on?
He in his 6th year, he's Listen, Chad, he's won 5 games before. He's only won 5 games. Slow down. He's only won 3. Has he won 3 or 2?
What was it, like
SEC games? 3.
His fourth or his second or third season. We started out like 4-0.
Second season, we
was like 5-1 for a while.
Lost 6 straight.
Yeah.
So Stoops has been here before, and there's still so much room for things to go wrong. I mean, we have Texas A&M that we could lose to. We have, honestly, we really could get upset by Virginia. We could get upset by Missouri.
Missouri looks good.
I'm telling you, Georgia, it's going to be tough. Probably lose that. Tennessee, another. It's at Tennessee. It could upset us.
Louisville. It's kind of like, Kentucky Louisville games. No matter what, one team can be the worst team in the nation, and the other can be ranked number 1. That in-state rivalry always brings a football game or a basketball game or whatever sport they're playing at. It's going to be a close game. You don't see very many blowouts in those games.
Yeah, I was telling Banks earlier that how bad Louisville was. Look in 2016 when we were like 26-point underdog going into Louisville, and we ended up losing. I told him this could be a year that we're the best team. We go to Louisville, and they just smack us, even though they sucked this year.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that if Stoops lost out from here on out, he lost every game, and he ended the season with a 5-game winning season, what's your all's opinion of him then?
My opinion of him is still, I'm still fine. I'm not the biggest Mark Stoops fan in the world. There's other coaches that I would like to have, but I don't think Kentucky football is going to be able to bring those coaches in.
Name your biggest one.
So, for example, Mark Stoops' older brother. I would love to have Bob.
You'd like to
Les
have Bob?
Miles. Les Miles runs an older offense. He still doesn't have a job.
I like the Shark Daddy, Jim McElwain. I'd like to bring him to Kentucky.
Well, let me just say this is a ridiculous question.
Yeah.
If they lost the next 7 games, talk about getting ahead of yourself there. That's as bad as saying that they're going to go 11-1. But if they lost the next 7 games, I'd say fire them because that would include losses to like Vandy,
Middle Tennessee.
and
it's very unlikely.
Louisville.
But realistically, I'll give that to you. So let's just say he wins Middle Tennessee and he wins Missouri. He finishes with 7 like he typically does. Is it still on the up and up, or?
I think it's still, 7-5. I think it's still, all in all, it's on the up and up, But the only thing that would scare me about, losing, 5 of the next, whatever,
Yeah, I guess 7 games we have, yeah.
Then that it depends on what kind of recruiting, how the recruiting fares from there. Because if we can keep these solid recruits coming in, we have a pipeline through Ohio, a solid pipeline through Ohio, thanks to Mark Stoops. We have a solid pipeline through Florida, thanks. What's the coach? Vince Marrow. Mm-hmm. And Kentucky football recruiting is at a level we have not seen before. And if we lose 5 of the next 7 games, that's going to scare me on where these recruits are going to really be looking at this team, thinking, do they want to come here and try this again with this, or what's going on? And then like you said, we're going to lose a lot of almost our entire defense is going to go pro.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily go pro, but, graduate.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's going to go top 15 picks probably, but then we're going to have somebody like Cash Daniels to step almost right back in, to replace a Josh Allen or Jordan Jones or whoever you want to put him back in at linebacker, So then you lose Benny. And then I didn't realize till the other day, Terry Wilson's only a sophomore.
Right.
Just knowing he came from a junior college, for some reason I thought he was a junior.
Yeah.
So we'll have him for the next couple of years. I think that'll be interesting to see. I think he can really develop into this offense and be a Lamar Jackson type player if he can develop the throwing aspect a little bit more.
Okay, so have any of you guys been to any UK games yet this season?
I have not.
Yet?
I went to the South Carolina game.
You went to South Carolina game. Did you sit in upper or lower arena?
Upper, but they had backs.
Okay, it did have backs?
They did have
Oh,
backs.
they have backs in the upper arena?
Yeah,
now?
for about the first half.
Okay, did your section vibrate at all? Did your section move when the crowd got really loud?
No.
You didn't feel it shake? I felt my section shake. For a second, I got scared. Like, I really did think that it was going to collapse. Because I watch a lot of YouTube. I get sucked into YouTube at 3 a.m. a lot in the mornings. And I watch a lot of, dangerous videos. I watched this one video of this wedding party that was dancing on the floor, and the floor collapsed. And they all fell to their death. That was terrifying. So I was thinking about at that game when the stadium was shaking, I was like, what if this fell? That's a long way down. how high that is.
Yeah,
It would be worth it
I
for a
heard.
Kentucky win.
I heard.
Yeah, I'd rather be sitting in the seats than sitting under them.
I heard
Yep.
people say that the atmosphere was so rocking that night that the ground, it was shaking.
It was rocking. It was rocking me out of my seat. Like it was scary. But I do got to give credit to the fans. Kroger Field has been putting out this season.
That's the thing that I'm excited for, man. Like I said earlier in the podcast, 8-0 Kentucky team. If we can get there against number 2 Georgia team, Commonwealth Stadium will be wild.
Fans are excited.
It'll be the loudest game that stadium's probably ever seen.
Yeah, fans are really excited. I mean, you really do see fans tailgating, talking about football. I've not heard any mention of basketball.
That's what I was going to say. Do y'all know what's Friday?
Big Blue Madness.
It took y'all 5 seconds to figure that out. But still.
It's always the bye week.
But no one's talking about it. I
actually,
I'm not going to be able to watch it. I can't. I have something to do that night, so I can't watch it. But oh well.
you can't find things to do instead of Kentucky.
Kentucky
Kentucky basketball.
Gotta go to a wedding Friday night. So.
Blue-white game.
Who has weddings on Big Blue Madness night?
Non-Kentucky fans.
Non-Kentucky fans, right. Is it out of state?
No, it's here, but
In Lexington?
no, it's in Georgetown.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's football season though. They didn't have a football game that weekend, so
That's true. I mean, if I was going to miss a UK event, it would probably be Big Blue Madness.
I don't know if me and Zach were just kind of quietly talking in the background. I think both of us would agree. If we had to miss a Kentucky event, it'd be the blue-white game.
I'd rather watch them play Asbury.
I hate the blue-white game because there is no competitive. It's just watching them practice. It's boring. I wouldn't
really
pay money
boring.
for it. I hate that.
I
game.
think, honestly, for me, Big Blue Madness has become like the showcase of the dark side of the one and done and everything that none of us like about this era. Like, we all like the wins. We like being at the top. And we wouldn't trade that, but at the same time, like, I mean, having a guy that's 18 years old, just came out of high school, and he's got, like, this rock star production, and they're just playing each other, like, come on.
And I think they've ruined they're going to, I mean, not ruin it, because I think it ultimately is going to make the team a lot better, but we did the Bahamas tour, so everybody's already seen this team.
Right.
It's not like, usually the Big Blue Madness is the introduction to the team. These new players, but we've already seen them. We've seen 4 games.
Yeah, the one thing that I think that we don't like in the Cal era, the Big Blue Madness night really.
Yeah, players bigger than the program.
They turn up the voltage for those players that night. They got Drake coming out. They got entrance music. They got Titantrons like WWE wrestlers.
I don't understand why they have to do that because I'm sure we're not the only program that does that.
Right, it's a good recruiting tool.
Right, but it to me, it speaks to the players being bigger than the program.
Exactly. Big Blue Madness, though. I've never been to a Big Blue Madness.
Can we point something out real quick? Banks has a fridge in the studio, and he's got some waters in there. And Chad just went into the fridge real quick in the studio, and Banks has cereal in their fridge.
Yes, and so many people.
Why do you refrigerate cereal?
But so many people call me out on that. Why don't you refrigerate cereal? It keeps it fresh. If you keep your cereal out, it's going to dry up. Just keep your cereal in your fridge. It's going to be cold and fresh.
Is that a proven fact?
Yes.
Huh.
I've never heard it.
You're hearing it.
It's kind of bulky.
It is bulky. It does take up a lot of room. But when you have a fridge like mine, there's not a lot of stuff to put in the fridge.
Yeah. Plenty of room for the ketchup and a couple bottles of water.
Did you see all the RC Cola I had in there, though? I have a bunch of RC Cola.
You keep them in business.
Let me get an RC Cola. I'll put this back up.
Have you guys ever had an RC? Would you guys like to try an RC?
I think most of us growing up here probably grew up on RC. I know you said Chad had never had one until like 2 weeks ago when we watched.
I have had one, but we just made it a.
Or no, was it Banks that never had one?
No, God, I grew up with RC.
Okay.
Yeah, my barber back in Letcher County, back in Awesome, his name was Roger, and I'll tell you the story about how he's no longer my barber anymore. But RC. He used to have an RC machine in his barbershop, and RC was always the prime pop. It was always sold out.
Are they owned by somebody now?
Royal Crown Cola.
Are they independent still? They didn't get like bought out by Coke or Pepsi?
I thought it was the same brand who owned like A&W Root Beer and
it says trade copyright Dr. Pepper's 7-Up.
RC tastes just like Pepsi.
They just bought it out.
I love RC.
Probably is Pepsi.
It's a forgotten pop.
I probably haven't had an RC Cola
on it.
since I was maybe like 8, years old, maybe 10 years old
And
at
that's
the latest.
because of marketing. I swear, it's because it's hard to find too, and it's because of marketing. If you drink it, you will go back to it.
A little country
I
store next
understand
to
why
my
it's
house.
not-
Now, if you had a Dr. Thunder, I might take you up on that.
Dr.
Maybe a Mountain Lightning.
Have you ever had a Mr. Pop?
No,
Mr. Pop.
Mr.
Yeah.
Pop, is that you just making that up?
No, Mr. Pop really. It was one of those generic Walmart brands. It was right beside of Dr. Pepper. It was
I have
Mr.
to
Pop.
try Mr. Pop.
Have y'all ever had Tab?
Oh, yeah.
Gosh,
Yes.
no, it's-
I've never had a Tab, but I have a
I-
neighbor who drank it all the
Gosh,
time.
yeah, I had a neighbor that lived off a Tab, man. That's all they ever drank. You go over to their house. They would keep, because they babysitted me when I was young, and they would keep RC Cola for me, but they would live off Tab.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That took a big spin.
that really did take a big
All right,
spin.
let's get out of the rabbit hole.
Really quick before we move on to other things, I just want to say some breaking news here in this good old United States of America. I don't know if anyone has been following this coverage, but I'm sure some of my listeners has, because we got a lot of diverse listeners for the show. But Brett, I can't say his last name. Just
Kavanaugh.
say it again.
Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you very much. He has been sworn in as the Supreme Court Justice. So he won. He won. What do you all think about it?
Well, I think I'll start it off since everybody's like, oh gosh, he brought up politics now. I think it was good. I've been telling you, man, it's always supposed to have been innocent until proven guilty in this country, and I just don't think a big political spectacle makes somebody guilty, no matter how bad they wanted to be guilty. So I'm glad to see it be over with. Hopefully everybody can move on and respect him as a Supreme Court justice and let him do his job.
And some people say it was a coincidence that he was even accused of this right before he was sworn into the highest seat.
The timing was very, very suspicious.
Yeah, they really wanted to win. Just like Lindsey Graham said, you all want power. God, I hope you never get it. But yeah, he won. And I understand if you guys don't want to talk about it.
Well, I haven't kept up with this situation that much. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how many combat missions Amy McGrath's flown. So
81.
89.
89?
89. I bet you she's probably flown more than that. She just doesn't want to tell you.
Since she's done that last commercial, she's probably flown two more.
At least two.
Yeah. Her commercials, though, she does look very masculine in them. Like, she does look like she runs her household. Her husband, oh my gosh.
She definitely wears the pants in her relationship.
Definitely. I feel sorry for him. He's just over there in the corner with the dogs and the kids, and he's like, hey, Amy, go out there and do your thing. I'm over here with the kids. Like, it's kind of like, wow.
Yeah, and then she goes outside, gets in the jet plane, and takes off.
Yeah. With her swinging military boss. I didn't know a good pun to say there.
Yeah, you got stuck on that one.
I got stuck on that one, but yeah. Politics, man. I don't know, Zach, you said that she was kind of stuck up when you seen her at the...
Oh, I've never seen her.
Okay. Was it Allison Grimes you seen?
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't think she was that bad.
Flashy?
Yeah, flashy for sure, but I don't know. I don't know which way I'm going to vote on that one still. I'm still undecided.
Well, your vote matters. You're an American.
Yeah, our vote matters a lot on this one. Could determine who controls the House.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Predictions?
Yeah. Productions? What is it?
Production. Our producers in the bathroom.
Oh, is it? Can you
What a lousy producer.
I'm telling you.
Predictions.
He misspells words like I couldn't even pronounce Kavanagh's word name. Is that his last name? Kavanaugh?
Kavanaugh?
Jesus.
Kavanaugh.
Why can't I say that? I mean, really? That's horrible. I can't even read it off of a piece of paper. Kavanaugh.
We're gonna make predictions or anything before we go off here.
Predictions? Okay, yeah. Texas A&M or Kentucky, who you got? Jordan.
Everybody in the room.
You can
Probably
score.
gonna hate
Give
me
us-
here.
give us a score.
With your final score.
31-14 Texas A&M.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it?
31-14 Texas A&M.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Ooh, he's not even being close.
Okay.
What are we over here even watching it for then?
Ooh.
I feel like this episode has been so dark. It's been negative. We're freaking 5-0.
I don't think
And
it's... I mean, we're 5-0. We're not 6-0. We'll get happy on 6-0.
It's just Banks. He's just so anti-Stoops. It just seeps into.
Oh, I hope I'm wrong.
Okay, Zach, who do you have?
Well, I'm gonna say Kentucky 21,
Okay.
Texas A&M 24.
Okay.
So you're giving me shit, and you're over here
Well,
picking
I
it
didn't
too.
pick it to be a one-sided blowout like you did.
Let's hear how much Kentucky's going to win by when it comes to Chad, because we all know Chad thinks Kentucky's going to win.
I'm gonna say Texas A&M 17, Cats 27.
Are you looking at the Mega Million numbers?
I'm just scrolling.
He's playing Keno.
I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling through Facebook. It was
Make
on
sure you
feed.
get a Keno board up in the studio.
You should.
I really should. I should turn this place into a sports book since I'm getting so into it.
This little corner I'm in right now, man, this is perfect for a Keno machine.
Actually, I'm changing my score. 17-28, because if it would have been 27, I mean, we had to kick 2 field goals. Or, I don't know. I'm not doing math right now, but I'm not really going to be dependent on our field goal for our kicker tonight. So I'm going to say 28-17. We scored 4 touchdowns.
My prediction, Kentucky 21, and I'm going to have to go Texas A&M 37.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I think that Texas A&M is going to tear the house down tonight at College Station, unfortunately. I think that our winning streak comes to an end tonight, but I do think that Stoops can pick it back up against Vandy, and he could still, keep the momentum going.
This game, though, I said last week that this game would be, if we beat South Carolina, which we did last week, this week would be my seal the deal game for Mark Stoops' Kentucky Wildcats. If we can go to College Station and we can go to the Swamp and beat both of those teams this season, I think the sky's the limit for this team. But they have to get this win for me to be 100% sold on this Kentucky football is the real deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were playing at home tonight, I know for a fact we'd win because we're obviously the better team. But
I agree.
Their atmosphere, though, they're going to ruin like close to 100,000. That's what scares me.
Mm-hmm. And College Station is wild.
But I mean, we played well down at the Swamp, so you never know, man. This is a special team, I believe, and I think Stoops is going to get them hyped up. I heard that from the players that Stoops does a damn good job of getting the players hyped for road games. So we'll see. We'll see if we got them hyped enough for tonight.
Chad, if Kentucky wins, you should get to go around and just backhand all of us.
Actually, hold on. No. I'll make it even better. If Kentucky wins, so I'm not going to pick Kentucky to win. Banks, remember what the bet was in Florida? You was gonna sing "My Old Kentucky Home." If Kentucky wins tonight, since I'm the only one who said Kentucky's going to win, if they win, you got to sing "My Old Kentucky Home" in your little
Opera voice.
Your opera voice.
And we get to post it on the Off the Cuff Facebook page.
Folks, you may not hear it too often on Off the Cuff, but I've heard it. Banks has a hell of a range. Just a hell of a range. He hits some notes that you're just like, wow, really?
I don't know how I do it. I don't really know how I make my voice hit those high notes. I can do it, though. I can turn my voice into an opera voice.
If this was the 80s, you would definitely be
I'd be a superstar.
Yeah, you'd have some big ballad hits. You know?
So is that a deal?
You got to put it on Off the Cuff
You don't
page
think
and let your viewers listen.
You don't think they're gonna have? You don't think they have a chance at all?
I don't.
So if they win, then you gotta post it.
You know what? Deal.
Deal?
Okay,
Let's
so
make it
if
happen.
Kentucky loses, here's what I want you to do for me.
Oh, yeah.
You can't go into a bit with just the one side.
I know what yours is gonna. I know. No, go ahead. So what do you got?
You have to call into KSR tonight as Fake Chester, and you have to debut your Fake Chester voice tonight on the KSR postgame show after the game.
I think it could work too.
Chester.
I think it could work too.
Well, don't get in.
I mean, if you don't get in, you don't get in, but you got to try.
You get in on a loss.
Yeah. Oh, those are usually the toughest to get in on, is the losses, because everybody wants to bitch. But
I can't even try KSR anymore.
Is that a deal?
Matt kicks me off.
Yeah, deal.
that is a deal. All right, we got a deal. So how do you?
That's a handshake.
Yeah.
We all saw it.
But how come I'm the only one? I mean, I guess they.
You're the one that decided to make this deal.
You kind of threw the ball.
We're minding our own business.
All right.
All right. Well, does anyone have anything to add before we shut it down in the studio, as P. Diddy likes to say?
I got one last thing.
Yes.
Go Cats.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope that the Cats win. I hope I lose my bet that I bet Texas A&M to win on, and I hope that I'm singing "Oh Kentucky Home" on Facebook tonight.
Let me tell you what. Them Cats are gonna go down there to Tyler Field and they're gonna whip some A ass. Let me tell you what. Cats by 11.
Fake Chester, thank you. Thank you, Fake
Love
Chester.
it. We love
See,
it.
Fake Chester debuted here on Off the Cuff.
Who was the guy that Chester got into a big battle
Daryl.
with? Daryl.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Fake Chester, we can create him a Twitter account, and he can be an exclusive Off the Cuff caller as well. And, of course, everybody will know who Fake Chester is. He is Fake Chester. You got to be Fake Chester. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to another episode of Off the Cuff. I want to give a shout out and a special thanks to Chad Rainwater, Zack Hahn, and Jordan Conaster for being on the show.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be here.
And I will see you in the next episode.
It's a party, it's a party, it's a party.